And we say that the congruent figures, it have the same size, the same shape, and since they are congruent, I can slide them, I can flip them, and I can also turn on them. And also we say what is the difference between the congruent and the similar shape. And also we say that if I want to say that these two polygons are congruent, I have to check all the corresponding sides or the corresponding angles. If the corresponding angles are congruent, if all of them are congruent, I can say that the polygon here is congruent. And we started with these two problems. Here now, in this problem here, we have this congruent parts, and I need to find.
Miss, we solved this yesterday.
Yes, excuse me. Okay, here now.
Teacher, you solved this one too.
Okay, but I hear. Yesterday I told you that the value of C is equal to the value of D. But this is not, because I draw the triangle wrongly. That's why I solved wrongly. Here now, I draw, it's like, I have to draw it like, what's happened? Okay. As an example like this, you can say, and the other one will be like this. Then, here now, you have A, B, and C, and here you have E, F, and D. I mean D, E, F. Now, the value of E here is 30, and the value here also, it is 30. The value of C, it is 75. Now, look at the naming of the shapes here. They are A, B, C. Here, D, E, then E, then F. So, that means the measure of angle B is congruent to the measure of angle E.
Teacher, is it FED or DEF?
It is DEF.
Okay.
Like here, A, B, C, DEF. So B is equal to E. And then measure of angle C, this one, is equal to the measure of angle F. So what does it mean?
It means that angle A
So,
is congruent to angle D.
so yes, by default, angle A, it means it's congruent to angle D. Now, angle here it's 30, and here it's 75. So in the other triangle in DEF, if this is 30, this will be 30, and this will be also 75 degree. Because I know that C is congruent to F. So if C is 75, the congruent will be also, or this congruent angle will be also 75, because it have the same magnitude, the same size. So no, now look at this triangle here. Okay, I want you now to look at this triangle. What's happened here? No. Okay, I want you now to look at this triangle. If you look at it here we have 30, here we have 75, and here we have unknown angle. I have to find it. How can I find the unknown angle in the triangle if two of the angles are unknown? I will add 30 plus 75 plus the measure of angle D. Okay, I will add measure of angle E plus measure of angle F plus measure of angle D. What are the summation of the angles in the triangle? They are
180.
180. The measure of angle E is 30. The measure of angle F is 75. And the measure of angle D is unknown. I have to find it. And all of them, they have a summation of 180. So what does it mean? It's like an equation, and I need now to find the value of the function. 30 plus 75 is 100. I'm sorry. It's 105 plus the measure of angle D is 180 minus 105 minus 105. So the measure of angle D will be what? After subtraction, it will be 75 degrees. Okay?
Because teacher, we read the part, the angles wrong, and we made C equal D, but it's C equal.
It's not. It's exactly. Because I draw the graph from. Okay, now. Then we stopped here.
Yes.
Okay. Now. Finding congruent triangles. I want now to find or to check that if these triangles are congruent or not. If I want to check if these two sides, these two triangles are congruent or not, I have to put all the elements and check one by one. If all the elements are congruent, I can say that the triangle is congruent. So let's now start. Now, since we have a triangle, how many elements should I write?
6.
6, thank you. Now, I will start with 1. Let's start with the sides, then with the angles. So here I have to start with the sides. And here now with an angle. Let's go now to the sides. Sides A, B, line segments A, B is congruent to which side? To which angle? To which side? Or what is the side that's congruent to AB?
ED.
Look here. I start with A, B. So I will say D.
E.
So it's a line segment AB is congruent to DE. How can I know? Because it's given. Look at this dash, that means it's congruent. But now look at now AC, the angle, the sides or the line segments AC. Which side is congruent to it?
DC.
AC with the AC. I mean this one now. It's congruent to what?
EC.
DC.
EC.
EC.
EC. Don't forget, not CE. E then C. So I will say it's congruent to EC. To the line segments EC. How can I know? Look at the length of AC. What's the length of it? It is 6. And the length of EC, it's also 6. And the definition
Oh,
of
okay.
congruent, that's mean it has the same size and the same shape. So since they have the same length, so it is a congruent. So AC, it will be congruent, sorry, with EC. Now look at BC. BC, the line segment BC. Which side is congruent to BC?
DC.
DC, thank you. It's congruent
D
to BC because here we have the same length, which is 4.
Yes.
So by now, I check all of the sides. I compare each pair in the sides, and they are each pair of the corresponding sides, they are congruent. So I can say that the sides, all of the sides are congruent. I want now to check the angles. Look
Yes.
at this angle here, angle A.
It's congruent with angle E.
Angle A with angle E. How did you know, Farah?
From this sign that's on the angle.
Yes, it's given. This sign,
Yes.
and since they have the same sign, so it's meant to have equal. So I will say that angle A is congruent with angle E. Now, what about angle B? Which angle is congruent to angle B?
Angle D.
D.
Angle D. Thank
Angle
you.
D.
D.
Thank you. Angle D also. What also? Did I finish?
No, there's
No.
angle C.
No.
Angle C. We can name it with angle BCA. Is it congruent with angle ECD?
Yes.
How did you know?
Because they have the same size and the same length.
Yes.
This is given?
Yes, 4,
Yes.
4, 6.
4 and 6.
No, I'm talking about the angles.
Have the same size.
No, it doesn't. There's no mark that they say
was no
they
mark
are.
Okay, but what here? They are vertical angles. And since
Yes.
they are here, if you have any two intersecting lines, so if there's two intersecting lines, so these angles will be equal
Vertical.
because of
Yes.
it is vertical angles. So the angle BCA is equal to the angle, or is congruent to the angle ECD because they are vertical
Vertical angle.
Vertical
angles.
angle.
Okay.
Just
Now
a minute, I'm writing it.
Now, since now all the angles are congruent, or the pairs of angles are congruent, or all the pair of sides are congruent, can I say that my triangles here are congruent?
Yes.
Yes, I can say now they are congruent. Why? Yes, I can say that they are congruent. Why? Because we have the same, or the congruent, or the pairs of angles, or the corresponding pairs of angles are congruent, and all the pairs of sides are congruent, so that the triangle is congruent. Now,
No, teacher, I'm writing.
let's watch the
Choosing it.
video.
It's written already in problem 3.
Now,
If we take the proof, got it 4, I mean.
that's the 3 now.
Okay.
Now, in got the 3 here, as you see, we have this triangle. Okay, for this triangle here now, I need to check that if the triangle ABD is congruent to CBD. Now, look at here. From this one here, I can say that line segment AD is congruent to DC, to CD, sorry. AD is congruent to CD. This is given. And also, we can say that the line segment BD, okay, is congruent. In the first, she is here. I want to redraw them. I can redraw them like this. A, B, D, and B, D, C. So, no, sorry. So, line DB or BD is congruent to BD here also. They are, both of them are congruent because the reflexive property of congruent. They have the same, it's the same line in both the triangles, so they are the same. Okay, so now I can check this side, or these pairs of sides, and these two pairs of sides. Now what about AB and BC? Does it given to me that they are equal?
No, but
No.
they
Did
are
I know?
reflective.
What?
They are reflexive.
About BD, but what about AB and BC?
They didn't give me that they
They
are
did,
congruent.
thank you. They didn't give me that, they are congruent. So, that's mean here that there's no information about the other side. About the sides or the angles. So I can say now that we cannot conclude that triangle
What is
A,
it?
B, D is congruent to CB.
Teacher, what is this no information about?
Information about sides or angles. I don't have, just I
Okay.
check, here I now write 6 statements, but I wrote 2. So I didn't have any information about the other side and all the angles. So I cannot conclude that the triangle ABD is congruent to the triangle CBD. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you know that before that the theorem and triangle angle sum. The triangle angle sum, that's told me that the summation of the measures of the angles in any triangle is 180. As we said before, if I have the angles, so the summation of the angles in the triangle is 180. Now, look at this theorem here. In this theorem, he told me that if two angles of one triangle are congruent to two angles of another triangle, so the third angle will be congruent. And يعني that's me. If I have this angle, this triangle, sorry, and also I have this triangle, okay, the purple and the pink one. For these two now, as you see, For the first one, let's name the angles with A, B, and C. And the second one here, let's name it with D, E, F. Now, he told me that if the angle A, okay, is congruent to the angle D, and also if angle B is congruent to the angle E, okay, here you have this one, angle B. Here you have angle A. Here we have angle D. Here we have angle E. Look at the stars and the hearts here, matching them. Now, if you look at angle A, they are congruent to angle D. What mean they are congruent? That if the measure of angle A is 40, the measure of angle D will be 40 also. And if the measure of angle B is 70, as an example, the measure of angle E will be 70 also. Now, he told me that if the two angles are congruent to another two angles in another triangle, as we say here, that means the third angle will be congruent also, or will be congruent too. So if I have each triangle have three angles. If two of them are equal to the another two angles in the other triangle, so by default, the third one will be congruent to the third angle. Who can tell me why?
Because teacher, the corresponding lines and angles are equal.
Yes, teacher, because we are the same thing. I was gonna say what Farah said.
Who can tell me another explanation?
Well, since teacher, both of them are equal here and here, that means the third one would be equal to them. Since we found the same here and here, means they might also be the third one, the same as the first one. I don't know how to explain it.
This is our theorem, but I want you to prove to me that they are equal. So, okay, look at the first triangle here. What are the summation of the angles? They are 180, is it right?
Yes. Yes.
So 180. This 180 is 40 plus 70 plus angle C.
Plus.
So what is
the same thing with other triangles?
Okay, so the angle C, what's the value of it? It will be 70.
70.
After you subtract it, you will find that it's 70. Look at the second triangle here. The summation of the angles is 180. So 40 plus 70 plus measure of angle F is 180. So F will be 70 also. So because of that, I can say the measure of angle F is equal to the measure of angle C. Okay? Because both of them they have the same summation. Don't forget, in the previous one here, in the previous example, or got it, we said that we know that this side and this side are congruent. And also this side are congruent. But we cannot conclude about AB and BC. That means if I know that in the triangles, if I know that two sides are congruent, okay, that doesn't mean that the third one will be congruent. But in the angles, it will be yes. So if in the sides, this theorem cannot work. But in the angles, it can work. Because in the angles, if two angles are congruent, the third one will be also congruent. Let's prove this one here now.
And miss the sides if they give us 2. So we cannot conclude that the third one will be equal to the, will be congruent with the other side of the angle.
Yes,
or the
we
second
cannot say.
triangle.
Yes, exactly. We cannot say this because this theorem only works on angles. This name is third angles theorem.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, let's prove this theorem now. We given here now that measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle D, and also measure of angle B is equal to the measure of angle E, and I want to prove that measure of angle C is equal to the measure of angle F. Now, I will start. I will say the measure of angle A is equal, as you see from the graph, equal or, sorry, it's not given. Wait. The angle A is congruent to the angle D, and the angle B is congruent to the angle E, which are given, as you say from here. This is the first angle and the second angle. Now, if they are congruent, what does it mean? That means the measure of them are equal also. So, because of that, I can say that the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle D. And the measure of angle B is equal to the measure of angle E. This is the definition of the congruent. That they are, if they are congruent, so does it mean that they have the same value? So the measure of the angles will be equal because they are congruent. Then, if you look at this triangle here, the first one, A, C, or ABC, if you look at them here, look at the first, this triangle here. In this triangle, the measure of angle, I will change the color now. The measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C is equal to what?
180.
180, thank you. And also for the another triangle, look at the another triangle here. They are D, E, F. So the measure of angle D plus the measure of angle E plus the measure of angle F is equal to 180. So both of them have the same measure of angles. Now, if you, as you remembered in lower grade, when you see 2 plus 3 equal 5 and 4 plus 1 equal 5,
Angle theorem.
They have the same answer. Can I rewrite them like this?
Yes.
It will be the same
because
answer.
Here is 5. Yes, thank you. So here is also in the angles, I can do the same. I can put this term equal to the second one. So I can rewrite them like this. The measure of angle A plus measure of angle B plus measure of angle C is equal to
measurement of angle D
Yes.
plus measurement of angle E plus the measurement of angle F.
Thank you. So I can now do like this. They are equal. So what does it mean? That means the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C equal the measure of angle D plus the measure of angle E plus the measure of angle F. Is it clear until now?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Okay. Then after that, let's clear here. Let's take it here now. Now, then he told me that from the beginning, as we remember, we say that the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle B. This is from the question. And the measure of angle B is equal to the measure of angle E. So instead of writing M, the measure of A, I can write the measure of D. And instead of writing the measure of B, I can write it the measure of E. Because they are equal. Is it right?
Yes. Or miss, I can
And
choose any one of them.
yes, I will keep a measure of angle C as it is. Now on the other side here, I will write it as measure of angle D plus measure of angle C plus measure of angle F. Now, if you look here, measure of angle D cancel measure of angle D. Measure of angle E cancel the measure of, here is E. Cancel the measure of angle E. So what does it mean? That means the measure of angle C
And measure angle F.
and the measure of angle F are equal.
Miss Teacher, I kept the same, but the unknown angles, I put them the same. Like angle B, I put it to the same, and angle F, yes, I put instead of angle A and B, angle A, D, and E.
Yes,
but F
yes.
because
Keep it as an yes. Also you can. So the measure of angle C now is equal to the measure of angle F. And then after that, since I know that the measure, let's put it here now. Now, since I know that the measure of angle C is equal to the measure of angle F, so what does it mean? That means they are congruent. So I can say now the measure of angle C is congruent to the angle F. That's what I need to prove. Is it clear?
Yes, you made the yes, you made the paragraph proof or the two column proof.
Sorry?
You made now the two column
Yes.
proof. Okay.
The two columns?
Yes.
What?
I cannot understand.
Because teacher, when we make steps in the proof, we say how we make it. We make it like substitution property, subtraction property.
Oh yes. Oh, okay, okay. But I'm telling you why.
Okay.
Miss, I have a
But
question.
teacher,
Yes, tell me.
Teacher, how